Hey everybody, how are we all? Today it is Tuesday. I am recording this on a Tuesday. I'm doing my usual, well, it's not my usual, I've only done it once. I am doing a Facebook Live in my mini midlife reset group. So 7 days of free coaching to the lovely ladies that signed up. There's 16 of us, by the way. That's quite impressive. And I'm also doing a podcast at the same time. And I've got my iPad. This is like total technological guru that I am. Anyway, maybe not. I'm sure I'm going to make a mistake at one point. Anyway, it's Tuesday. I hope you are well. Today I'm going to chat about sleep and why it is the mother of all health. So this week is all about the six or seven habits basically that you just need in your life. Like you actually need them in your life. So what a lot of ladies that come to me are in the market for fat loss, right? So they're not happy with what they see in the mirror. They've got some unexplained, I just did like those comma things, bracket things, unexplained weight gain. They're in midlife, they're usually perimenopausal, possibly menopausal, but round about that time anyway, and they can't understand why the scale weight is going up and their body shape is changing, right? And it will be something to do with something that you're doing or something that you're not doing. But there's a lot of misinformation out there as far as midlife is concerned, and the perimenopause causes fat gain. Right now, if the perimenopause scientifically caused fat gain, every single woman on this planet, when they got to the perimenopause, would gain fat, right? And that's not the case. So it is down to individual lifestyles that cause fat gain. All right, it's disappointing. I was actually heartbroken when I found this out, by the way. I totally thought I'd packed on 2 stone because of the perimeno, when in fact I'd actually packed on 2 stone because I was a lazy fucking cow during the perimeno. Yeah, and my eating was a bit shit. I was living on Haribo and takeaways and crisps and dip, and I was hardly moving. So if you're gaining fat, body fat, your scales are jumping up around this time of your life, it's probably because you've been a lazy cow. Right, so there you go, blunt. So something will have changed. You might not realise that something will have changed. Anyway, we're going to speak about sleep today because the 7 habits that I'm speaking about, right, this week, which I have turned into little mini podcasts for you all, right, are all about the things that are not directly related to fat loss, but will help you get fat loss. So if you're in the market for fat loss, scientifically it is calories in, and something just bleeped and I've got 3 things on the go, so I don't know what it is. Anyway, these are still there, right? So scientifically, and the gospel truth, all right, is that the only way you can get fat loss is to eat in a calorie deficit. However, there are lots of things that we can do to make sticking to that calorie deficit a bit easier, right? And what I mean by that is if you think about yourself and your life, right? If you are an absolute fucking riot, if you are chaos, if you are a bomb scare, right? If you are not sleeping properly, if you're not aware of what food you're putting into your mouth, if you're not drinking your water, if your sleep is shit, I've said that twice because I'm speaking about sleep and that's all I've got in my head. If you're not exercising, if you're not getting your steps in, right? And you are literally lurching from one fucking drama to another, you are never going to get fat loss, which is why it is so important to take some time for yourself. You cannot fill from an empty cup, all right? But as midlife women, we seem to find this theory of taking some time for ourselves as being selfish. Whereas I'm actually not asking you to take time for yourself to the detriment of your responsibilities or to the detriment of everybody else. All I'm saying is if you take time for yourself, you will be able to give to other people without actually resenting them or wanting to kick fuck out them. So surely that is a good idea. Anyway, right, sleep. So sleep, a primer. I also, by the way, I have put everything that I know about sleep and how it can help you stick to your calorie deficit and just generally deal with life, right? Because the less sleep we have, the bigger everything seems like a drama, and there will be more likely that there will be lots of straws that break lots of camels' backs, all right? So if we can get our sleep sorted, it literally is the mother of all health. You will feel better, you will think better, you will want to move more, you will deal with things better, all right? You will actually possibly start to like yourself. It will help with brain fog, it'll help with fat loss, and it'll just stop you being a cunty McCunt, which, let's face it, that's not what we're all about. Although we are sometimes as midlife women, but we don't really want to be. So, sleep. A primer, right? So I'm going to give you some figures to start with. Totally going to try and be all scientific, all right? No, I'm not, I'm only joking. Right, sleep is something we spend 30% of our lives doing and probably less than 1% of a day thinking about it. So sleep is important, right? It's very, very important because that's when our body heals itself, right? That's when our brain basically collates all the information that you've learned throughout the day and then decides whether it's going to keep it or whether it's going to file it away or just patch it right outside your brain, all right? So it decides what's important in your brain, which is why if you are stressed, right, you will not sleep because your brain cannot shut down properly. And what does stress and not sleeping do? It just makes you even more stressed the next day, all right? If we don't get a decent night's sleep, we are more than likely we have more chance of reaching for the sugary cereals for breakfast, reaching for the Haribo for the mid-morning snacks, going to the takeaway shop for lunch and getting all the cheesy, carby, high-fat, high-carb shite that is going to make you feel even worse. All right? I'm thinking about Greggs because when I never used to sleep in a previous life, before I was a goddess, I'm only kidding, by the way, I'm totally not a goddess, but Greggs was my favourite place for lunch. So I would go to Greggs and I would get like a cheese savoury sub thing. The big long things, whatever they're called. Can't remember. Were they called subs? Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, cheese savoury. And a packet of crisps, cheese and onion, obviously, to accompany said sandwich sub thing. And a cake, probably a fudge donut or a yum yum. I mean, come on. And seriously, and I wondered why I was fat when I was having that every day of the week. After probably not eating a proper breakfast or not eating a very healthy breakfast, maybe like a roll and sausage from a different takeaway shop and a coffee. And then nighttime dinners would be more than likely a takeaway pizza, or if I was feeling super healthy, a supermarket pizza and a bottle of wine. Was I sleeping? Was I fuck? All right. So anyway, right. So we spend 30% of our life sleeping, right? But we don't deem it important enough to do anything to make sure that we're going to get a decent night's sleep, right? Which is obviously silly when you think about it. But unless somebody points it out to you, you won't actually be aware of putting the effort in to get a good night's sleep. All right. Because we class it as, I suppose we kind of class it as a waste of time. Like we're not really being productive. Right, it's not fun. We're not having fun. All we're doing is just kind of lying there and we're a bit unconscious. Right, but it really is super important. And when you start to understand that you need to prioritise your sleep and when you start to get a decent night's sleep, I swear to God, it's absolutely life-changing. Right, so sleep, I want you to start thinking about it as a priority, right? So stop thinking about sleep as something that you do when your brain wears out or when you get tired, all right? Sleep, we want to be actively promoting sleep, not just letting it happen to us. Does that make sense? Yeah. So like avoiding it as in it's not like a badge to wear. Do you know? It's not like, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, do you know? Because if you didn't sleep, you're going to be dead a hell of a lot fucking quicker than you are if you get a decent night's sleep. So let's stop thinking about it as something that you just have to give into and start prioritising it because it's a fucking game changer. I kid you not, right? It's a necessary process that your brain actively causes every day. While you're asleep, your brain is still working, sometimes to about the same level of activity as would be associated with reading. Right, so it's still working, it's still actually doing quite a lot, and it is thinning out all that information and all that decisions and all that other shit that your brain retains when you're sleeping, so that when you wake up in the morning, you've like You're ready to go. Again, like jumping out your bed. How many is jump out your bed? I actually jump out of my bed. The minute my alarm goes off at 5 o'clock, I literally jump out of my bed because I'm excited for the day to come. I never used to feel like that, all right? But that's where I want you to be at with sleep. I want you to actually be getting out your bed thinking, fucking hell, I'm excited for this day. Another day on this planet, another day in this life. What am I going to achieve today? What am I going to learn today? What's happening? Who am I going to laugh at? Am I going to have some fun? This is what I want you to feel like when you get out your bed in the morning. Absolutely. Right, so sleep deprivation, as in consistently not sleeping, right? So 1 hour of sleep deprivation can absolutely destroy any chance you have of dieting successfully for fat loss. 1 hour. 1 hour, all right? It can also make you statistically more likely to be overweight, all right? So shift workers, especially if there's a night shift involved, right, are statistically more likely to be overweight and to have diseases, lifestyle diseases that are associated with being overweight, like high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, all right? So if you just think about that. All right. So, for the sake of not making sleep a priority and not thinking about it during the day, not having a pre-bed routine, not doing everything that you can, you actually have more chance of dying. I'm not even being dramatic when I say that. All right. It is not cool. If you are a shift worker, just leave your job. I realise that's not particularly helpful. All right. But shift workers and lack of sleep are two of the worst things you can do for your overall health. All right. So, sleep deprivation of only 1 hour can dysregulate your appetite and make you statistically more likely to be overweight. That is there's been studies done on that, all right? That is actually true. Beyond that amount, so more than an hour of sleep deprivation, right, it will impair exercise performance and recovery. That is providing you actually have the discipline to turn up to the gym and to do the exercise, because sleep deprivation also, right, will make you not want to exercise. It will literally make you want to sit on the sofa, scroll on Instagram, and shovel any manner of sugar you can get into your body, all right? It reduces concentration. So, midlife ladies, if you've got brain fog and you're not sleeping well, another reason why you need to actually sort your sleep out, all right? Also, reaction times, right? We all know reaction times when you speak about braking distance and stuff in the car, but just reaction times in general, to things in general, and to life in general, all right? Your reaction times are slower. So if you think that you're a fucking fast-moving, quick-footed ninja, and you wonder why that's not happening anymore, chances are your sleep is shit. All right, it saps creativity. So if you think that you want to go and be this creative person, but you're just sitting there like staring at the laptop going, oh my fucking god, I've no idea what I'm doing, you're probably not sleeping properly. It also makes you more irritable. Really, a midlife woman with irritability? Oh fuck no. I mean, come on, right? So yes, cunty McCunt, just what I was saying earlier, all right, Mrs. Cunty McCunt, because you're probably not sleeping and you're really irritable. You've got zero tolerance. You actually want to poke everybody in the eyes, or punch them in the face, or hit them in the fucking throat with a chair twice because you're irritable because you're not sleeping, all right? Also makes it difficult to focus on a given task, right? We all know this. This is stuff. Yeah, we all know this, right? But we don't think about sleep, we don't do a pre-bed routine, and we just try to batter on regardless, and then wonder why we're taking the face off everybody. I mean, come on. I kid you not, right? Sleep, it's so underrated, right? I'm not speaking about one night of broken sleep, right? If you have one night of broken sleep because, I don't know, your bairn's ill, your dog's doing your nut there's seagulls at 5 o'clock in the morning outside, all right, just suck it up, go and have an extra coffee or do whatever you need to do, stick to your routine, eat the same food that you've planned, all right, you will get through it. Have an early night, next day you'll be absolutely fine. I'm speaking about chronic shitty sleep and consistently undersleeping, all right? Again, another statistic, right? Almost all adults in the UK are undersleeping. Again, we just batter on. We just think that we've not got time to sleep. I mean, if you're busy, right? So you get up in the morning, right? You do all your shit, you sort your family out. I've got a really itchy nose. You sort your family out, you go away and do your 8 hours of work, etc. You come home, you've got shopping to do, you've got elderly parents to look after, you've got your kids to sort out, your partners to sort out, or whatever, all right? So then, by the time we sit on the sofa, right, we cook dinner, by the time you sit there and have your tea, or sit on the sofa, it's 8 o'clock at night, right? So you would much rather sit on the sofa for 2 hours watching shit on the telly like EastEnders and all that pish, right? Or reality TV or whatever, while scrolling on your phone and eating shite because you've had your dinner but you were starving anyway. So now you're just on the chocolate and the crisps and the sugar and the sweeties, all right? Or a glass of, even worse, a bottle of wine or a glass of wine or some alcohol, right? All of that you've just done 3 hours, 2 hours before you go to bed, right? Is that going to help you sleep? It absolutely is not going to help you sleep. It's just going to make it worse. So instead of sitting on the sofa for 2, 3 hours at night, right, doing fuck all while drinking alcohol, eating sweeties, scrolling on the socials, watching the telly, right, go and have a shower. Put your phone away. Go and have a shower. Get into your clean jammies. Make sure your bedroom's tidy. Read your book in your bed. I guarantee you your sleep will improve massively. Like that. Instantly. Alright? Oh, right. And again, it's not about the duration of sleep. There's no point going to your bed at 8 o'clock, scrolling on your phone for 2 hours, right? You're not going to sleep. You might fall asleep, no bother, but you'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and your sleep from 3 o'clock in the morning will be disrupted. Which means, guess what? When your alarm goes off, you're going to feel shitty. Yeah? Yeah. So, top tips to get some sleep. I hope I've explained properly the importance of sleep and how strongly I feel about it. If I came across as feeling about it quite strongly, because it's a fucking game changer, an absolute game changer. I'd even say life changing. I'd even say life changing. All right. So here's some top tips for you for your sleep to improve it. Right. Keep your room dark. Get a decent blind. If it's a blackout blind, even better, alright? If it's a blind and curtains, even better, alright? Keep your room dark. Now, my mum used to say when I was wee, right, that if your body needs sleep, you will sleep, regardless of what's going on around you, right? I'm not actually sure if she still thinks that. Me and my dad, on the other hand, used to need like a pitch black room. I'm an absolute fucking nightmare in the morning, right? I swear to God, come like the minute it gets a bit of daylight, my eyes are like wide open, and we have a blackout blind, all right. But there's a thin strip that runs of daylight that comes up the side, all right. So I would need to sleep in a completely dark room. Cal, after 11 years, is still like, can we not just have a long lie? And I'm like jumping out of my bed at 5 o'clock in the morning saying, yeah, let's go, whoop whoop. Anyway, get your room dark, all right. Light, even the light that you can see through your eyelids disrupts your sleep process, all right? So get blackout blinds and make sure electronic lights are off as well, unless you have a sleep issue and you're scared of the dark or whatever, all right? But make it as dark as you can. Switch off electronics an hour before bed, right? So switch off electronics, phones, iPads, TVs, right? A lot of people will think that this means just put your phone away. No, it doesn't. It means put your telly away. Don't put your telly away. Don't like lift it up, put it in the cupboard or whatever. But switch your television off, all right? Find something else to do instead. Yeah? Right. They impair the sleep process. The light in them wakes your brain up at random times during the night. Again, chances are you will probably fall asleep, no bother. And if you're telling me that you need the television on in the bed to fall asleep, no, you do fucking not. You have just got into the habit of that. Like any habit, you can train yourself out of it and you can train yourself into a new habit. It just takes time and effort and admittedly brain space, all right? So try and not. TVs and games are a great way to both stimulate your brain and lose track of time. Ever lost an hour scrolling? Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Right? Both of these things can lead to a shorter, poorer night's sleep. Reading a book and following this routine is banging, all right? Read a book, read a magazine, right? So have a warm bath or shower. That would be the first thing. So I come up the stairs about 8:30 or whatever and I have a warm shower, all right? I don't have a bath because if I had a bath, I'd fall asleep in the bath, and that would absolutely defeat the purpose, because then I'd be wide awake. So I have a warm shower, all right? The clean feeling of a warm shower is lovely. You know what it's like. Do you know, get in the shower, it's like that water is just like amazing. Come out the shower, dry yourself off, put your lovely moisturising cream on, and put clean pyjamas on. If you're asleep in the bed pyjama type person, or if you're going to have a bath or a shower, and then go back down the stairs and have a cup of tea before you go to bed with no television, that's totally acceptable, all right? So take a warm bath or a warm shower, all right? Right, so a warm bath or shower causes blood to rush to the surface of your skin. That then subsequently cools you down when you get out. That cooling allows you to fall asleep faster. Your core temperature drops when you are asleep, all right? Make time for a pre-bed shower. It is amazing. Keep your room cool and comfortable and tidy. At the risk of sounding like your mother, tidy your fucking room, all right? Walking into chaos when you're trying to go to sleep will not help you sleep. All right? Get your clothes tidied away. Line all your shoes up. Make sure it's tidy. Fluff the duvet. Plump your pillows. Fold the bed down so you're anticipating getting into your bed, all right? Make sure it's cool as well. Comfort is vital, obviously. Like, the closest me and Cal have ever came to getting divorced. We're not getting divorced, right? But the closest we've ever came was when I was at the height of my McCunty cuntness in the Perimeno, right? And we had an old metal framed double bed. And every time one of us turned over, in fact, even if you lifted your head off the pillow, the bed creaked, right? And there was one Sunday in October 2022, I think it was. I woke up in a fucking rage, like I was ready to stab him. It wasn't even his fault. We were just in bed together. Woke up in a fucking rage at 7 o'clock one morning, right? Or I woke up at 5 o'clock and lay there, right? In a rage because I couldn't sleep, because every time one of us turned over, that was just like the icing on the cake. 9 o'clock, we were up, out, and we were away at the bed shop, and we bought a divan bed, so no bed frame so it doesn't creak, no slat so it doesn't creak, and it's a super king size bed. You could literally get an army of people in between us and you would be none the wiser. So make sure your bed's comfortable, all right? Keep a window open, even if it's cold, keep a window open, all right? It allows fresh air to circulate, which is obviously really good. It's a good thing for sleep. Even if you've not had a curry, even if you don't have curry bottom, all right, it's a very good thing to do. So crack your window open, all right? Again, at the risk of sounding like your mother, keep your bedding clean. Yeah, change your duvet seasonally. If it's too hot, get a lighter duvet. If it's too cold, or if it's too hot, have a sheet under it. I now have a sheet under it, and this is since we had the perimenopause night sweat. So we have the bottom sheet, obviously. We then have a top sheet, and we have a duvet. And we have a blanket along the bottom of the bed, just in case. It's usually Cal gets cold, to be fair. I'm usually melting in my bed, which is ironic, because I'm like fucking freezing in day-to-day life. But anyway, do what you need to do with your bed, all right? Keep the bedding clean. If you need an extra sheet, get an extra sheet. If you're having night sweats, all right, make sure the spare bed is made up with clean sheets on it, or fall asleep on a towel, all right? If you wake up super sweaty, whip the towel away, and you've still got a dry sheet that you can cuddle back into, all right? Try and make it as easy for yourself as you can, all right? Avoid caffeine late in the day. Anything after 12 o'clock, caffeine has what we call a half-life. So half of it, basically, the simple way, right, this isn't the proper way, but the simple way is that half the caffeine you burn off and it disappears out your body and your brain. The other half stays in your body, all right, for X amount of times, like 6 hours or 8 hours. So even if you have a coffee at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, half of that caffeine is still in your body at 8 and 10 o'clock at night. So that can disrupt your sleep, all right? So after lunchtime, or 10 o'clock, whatever your thing is. I don't have real coffee after about 11. I would switch to decaf, or I would go into tea. So just be careful if you're drinking coffees at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all right? Keep a journal. Again, this is one thing that I used to think was a bit faffy and a bit woo-woo, and it's not. I spoke about it yesterday as well, all right? Getting your thoughts out your brain onto a piece of paper before you go to sleep is a helpful way to give your brain the opportunity to shut down and to not think about what it needs to do, all right? They're not for teenage girls. They used to be. Did anybody have a journal? I had a journal with a padlock and a wee key, which is ironic because you could, or hilarious, because you could actually just whack it off the table and the padlock would ping open. Anyway, I'm sure I used to write all my crushes in it and stuff. Anyway, you don't have to do that, all right? But getting everything out, all right? If you're working from home, try and write a to-do list for the next day, right, for your work. Again, get it out your head, all right? It's really good. Also, if you're a negative ninny because of whatever's going on in your life or because of the menopause, it's very hard to see the positive in anything. So journaling about all the good things that have happened, even if it's like, I am thankful because the sun is shining today, all right? If you're grateful for the fact that you have the money to allow yourself to go and get a takeaway coffee, that is quite often features in my journal, all right? Then write things down like that, just the positive things. All right, if you can think about your to-do list and write your to-do list down, and then think about a solution for anything that's on your to-do list that you know is going to do your nutting in the middle of the night, we'll do that as well, all right? Monkey brain, we call it racing minds, and monkey brain, right, is absolute recognised symptoms of the perimenopause. So anything you can do to calm that down is helpful, and journaling is one of them. All right, keep a routine. You're aiming to get up at the same time 7 days a week. See this? Oh yeah, I got up at 6 o'clock Monday to Friday, and on a Saturday I lie until 11 o'clock. You're doing yourself no good. I'm actually lecturing you here. You're absolutely doing yourself no good. I am up at 5 o'clock Monday to Friday. On a Saturday, I'm usually up at 5, maybe half 5. And if I wake up, I think my alarm's set for 6. I never get to my alarm. If I wake up, I'll just get up and go downstairs and read my book and have a cup of tea. So have a think about that, all right? You are literally doing yourself no favours by lying in your bed till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Again, I sound like your mother. You sound like you're my wild teenager. But yeah, honestly, go to bed at the same time. Get up at the same time. It will absolutely help. I promise you. Absolutely promise you. All right, exercising regularly. Not exactly part of the pre-bed routine, but exercising and burning energy will turn you into a more tired person, which will make you want to sleep, all right? As long as it's not like 10 o'clock at night and you're going to bed at 11, because you'll have a total exercise buzz on. But, yeah, all right. Get outside early. Daylight helps us. It absolutely helps us. And even if you're sitting in front of your laptop, right? I am sitting in front of my laptop today all day, and well, until about 2 o'clock, minus my lunch, because I've got loads to do on it, all right? But I'll still set my alarm for 45 minutes, and every 45 minutes I will literally get up and go and do something else. My laptop is directly in front of the window. I can see the daylight, all right? I'll be going out the back door to hang the washing up and whatever as well. So get outside. It does help. It helps you feel more awake in the morning. If you can do your morning steps, get a wee walk in before you go to work, or walk to your work. That will also help, all right? What about snacking, right? If you need a snack before you go to bed, that's totally cool, all right? Carbohydrate containing snacks will induce sleep because they'll make you feel like a nice little fullness, all right? They are very conducive. Something like a slice of toast or a wee bowl of cereal. If you're a lover of sugary cereal, that's cool. Then you go and eat 100 grams of sugary cereal before you go to your bed. A wee 30-gram portion and some milk will absolutely help you sleep, all right? A wee oatcake on something, all right? Just stay away from high fat. High fat before you go to sleep. So fat, your body takes longer and is the hardest thing, dietary fat, is the hardest thing for your body to process. So eating dietary high fat foods before you exercise and before you sleep are two major no-nos. Please do not do that, all right? Like, this is why sometimes if you have a takeaway pizza or a kebab, you struggle to sleep. It's because your body's still processing it, all right? So stay away from high fat, but knock yourself out with a wee carby snack if you need it, all right? That's all my pre-sleep routine. Sorry, the last one, be intimate with a partner or solo. And yes, correct, I am not going to elaborate on that because if you know me, you'll know I get beamers. And if I start to explain that, I'll just be sitting here getting a big beamer. So I'm not going to do that, all right? None of you are children. You all know what being intimate means. So, sleep. Exactly what I said at the beginning. It's an absolute game changer. I would go as far as to say it's a life changer. It can help manage your perimenopause symptoms. And more importantly, it can just make you be a nicer person. All right. See you all soon, my lovelies. Bye-bye.